What's going on, everybody? This is Kevin with AngrySnowboarder.com, here with a new episode of Top 5s, the only Top 5 show in snowboarding weekly. Today we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite boot techs, features, whatever you want to call them. Avran can't be here. He's got toe syphilis. Again. Starting off this top 5 list with my number 5 pick, and that is Burton Boa Cables. They're using their New England rope. It's basically the same company that makes all of their Speedlay stuff. And, normally something like this probably wouldn't make it into the list, and this is kind of maybe an iffy thing, but for the fact that the shop that I work at, we replace a shit ton of Boa stuff. I have not replaced a Burton Boa cable. I haven't had to do it yet. So the apparent durability of their New England Burton Boa rope is just that much higher than the cable that it's got to get on this list. It just seems to be way more durable than the actual steel cable, simply because I haven't had to replace any. And that's saying a lot, because we probably replace more Boas in Colorado than anyone else in the state. So that's why that gets on this list, because of the outright durability. And once Burton's agreement/patent wears out, I would like to see a lot of other brands jump on this bandwagon of rope instead of cable. Number 4 on this list, we move to the inside of the boot, liners. There's basically 2 schools of thought when you're constructing a liner. There's your standard tongue liner that's going to be built the same way your shoes are. You've got 2 flaps on the outside and a center tongue. I think those are inferior to the other kind, Burrito liners, where you just have 1 layer here and 1 layer there. I think it just provides a much more solid wrapped fit. I think the liner lacing systems work better on them. The only issue you can kind of run into is they tend to leave a pocket right at your ankle ditch, basically. So as long as the liner lace system is designed to accommodate for that, and they're paying attention to that as your boot designer, then it's not a problem. I think it just provides a much more direct connection to that liner, and then you can actually use your liner to stiffen up your boots. If you're using a dense enough memory foam or dense enough heat moldable foam, it can actually stiffen your boot up with the Briona liner versus the tongue liner. And then there's just less overlapping material, and then just the way it sits on your leg. I've always been a bigger fan of it, and I think the boots that we've ever had in the store that have had Burrito liners, they just fit people better. Number 3 is something I don't actually really have any personal experience with quite yet, because it's a brand new boot for 2019 that's using this tech. And it's a DC boot, and it has asym lacing to it. And really, it's just the asym lacing. I don't really care what the boot is. I don't really care how good it is. It's just the fact that they're using an asymmetrical lacing system. And there's been a few other shoe industries out there, or foot industries, however you want to talk about them, call them, that have used asym, and it works really well. Your foot's not symmetrical. Running straight down the center of your foot and leg honestly doesn't make as much sense as offsetting it to the outside of your foot. It's a flatter plane. As you close things, it just distributes pressure a little bit better, and I think it has a lot of potential to create much more comfortable boots that fit a lot more snug and actually have an ability to suck up volume instead of just smashing down on top of your foot, but actually like wrapping your foot down low instead of just crushing it from above, which is the issue I have with a lot of boots, that they just don't fit me on my actual foot. I have such a high instep that if I tighten it down at all, it just crushes my foot. So getting something that has an asym lacing that actually closes things instead of just smashing down, I just think there's a ton of potential to it, and I'd like to see a lot of other brands experiment with some asymmetrical stuff. I think it's got a lot of promise. Number 2. This is something that we're definitely going to be talking about this month in boot world for Angry Snowboarder, and that's footbeds. Most companies' stock footbeds are trash. They're slabs of foam. Occasionally they throw a plastic chip in the heel counter and maybe through the arch, but not enough to actually do anything. And part of that problem is you can't offer a footbed that actually offers a strong level of support, because what if it's too much support for the person that's getting that boot? Well, then they have to replace it. So the boot tech that I like in footbed world is from 32, and it's specifically in the Team 3. They're shipping those footbeds with replaceable arch chips. The heel counter is stiff enough to actually add some real support to it, and you can actually change how supportive and how tall your arch support is. That's huge. Now, granted, it's coming on a $460 boot. Sure, that's a high price point, but it's going to last that much longer, because expensive boots last longer generally. And it comes with that awesome footbed to it that actually makes a difference and actually works. That's actually the first time I've had a snowboard boot in my shop that I don't have to tell the person, hey, by the way, you should probably replace the footbeds in these immediately because they're trash. I can actually get them sized with the arches that come in there, and they actually fit that person's foot and actually do something. So Other brands, take note, modular footbeds in your high-end boots. It makes a difference. Do it. It creates sales opportunities across the board. Number 1. My biggest issue with snowboard boots as a whole is durability. I can spend $450 on a boot and it's going to last me 80 days. That's insane. I shouldn't be spending that much on a boot for it to only last that long. I have had one boot last me longer than that, and that was the Ride Fuse, and solely because of Slime Tongue. Slime Tongue is my number 1 pick for boot tech because it just makes boots last longer. I've noticed, and boot engineers, pay attention, when a boot dies, it's because the tongue is creased over and there's zero structure left in that boot. You go to flex forward in it and it just folds over because your tongue is what really gives your boot support, not your back spine. Not anymore. That's good. Back spines are good. They've been good for 10 years. Tongues. Start focusing on your tongues and the durability. They need to be able to flex over and over and over and over and not die. That's what Slime Tongue does. I got 130 days out of those boots. That's insane. And genuinely rideable. And I could probably still ride them. The tongues are finally cracking, but they're still rideable. And that's because those tongues don't crease. They don't fall over and die. They have rebound, and they keep their rebound. Well, that's it. Thanks for coming by to Angry Snowboarder during our boot month, the month we're talking about boots. This was my top 5 techs I like. Thanks for watching. Click the subscribe button. Click the bells. Make sure you know when these videos are coming out so you can actually come watch it. And if you want to support us, check out Angry Snowboarder VIP. It's a great way to keep these videos coming to you.